What if the spout opened and closed when the steam came out? So it would become a mouth, and it could whistle pretty melodies, or do Shakespeare, or just crack up with me. I could invent a tea kettle that reads in Dad's voice, so I could fall asleep, or maybe a set of kettles that sings the chorus of Yellow Submarine, which is a song by the Beatles, who I love, because entomology is one of my raisons d'etre, which is a French expression that I know. Another thing I should say before I go on, literature isn't really meant to be read out loud. Plays are meant to be read out loud. And sometimes when I write, I do things in a certain way, almost exactly because it couldn't be read out loud. You know, sometimes I'll make things very, very fast so that a reader will be forced to say, wait a minute, what was that? And to go back and try to piece it together and, in a way, therefore become complicit in the writing of the book. That's the writer's dream. It's not that a reader will like the book, but that a reader will feel somehow that he or she also wrote the book. That's what you want. So I will often do things toward that end, which makes reading a little difficult. I mean, I know that sentence in particular, that's why I thought of it, happened kind of quickly. So I'll read it again. I could invent a tea kettle that reads in Dad's voice so I could fall asleep, or maybe a set of kettles that sings the chorus of Yellow Submarine, which is a song by the Beatles, who I love, because entomology is one of my raisons d'etre, which is a French expression that I know. Another good thing is that I could train my anus to talk when I farted. When I saw that word coming, I imagined a really big face on the screen saying it. That somehow made it worse. If I wanted to be extremely hilarious, I trained it to say it wasn't me every time I made an incredibly bad fart. And if I ever made an incredibly bad fart in the Hall of Mirrors, which is in Versailles, which is outside of Paris, which is in France, obviously, my anus would say, "Ce n'était pas moi." But see, this is exactly what's good about an entire community reading a book at the same time, is there's so many different kinds of people in the community, and having to confront sentences like that together can only be a good thing. What about little microphones? I mean, what if everyone swallowed them and they played the sounds of our hearts through little speakers which could be in the pouches of our overalls? When you skateboarded down the street at night, you could hear everyone's heartbeat, and they could hear yours, sort of like sonar. Although one weird thing is, I wonder if everyone's hearts would start to beat at the same time, like how women who live together have their menstrual periods at the same time, which I know about, but don't really want to know about. That would be so weird. Except that the place in the hospital where babies are born would sound like a crystal chandelier in a houseboat, because the babies wouldn't have had time to match up their heartbeats yet. And at the finish line, at the end of the New York City Marathon, it would sound like war. Anyway, my first jiu-jitsu class was 3.5 months ago. Self-defense was something that I was extremely curious about for obvious reasons, and Mom thought it would be good for me to have a physical activity besides tamburining, so my first jiu-jitsu class was 3.5 months ago. There were 14 kids in the class, and we all had on neat white robes. We practiced bowing, and then we were all sitting down, and then Sensei Mark asked me to go over to him. Kick my privates, he told me. That made me feel self-conscious. Excuse me, what? I told him. He spread his legs and told me, I want you to kick my privates as hard as you can. He put his hands at his sides and took a breath in and closed his eyes, and that's how I knew that actually he meant business. This is based on a true story, by the way. No way, Jose, I told him, and inside I was thinking, what the? He told me, go on, guy, destroy my privates. Destroy your privates? With his eyes still closed, he cracked up a lot, and said, you couldn't destroy my privates if you tried. That's what's going on here. This is a demonstration of the well-trained body's ability to absorb a direct blow. Now, destroy my privates. I told him, I'm a pacifist. And since most people my age don't even know what that means, I turned around and told the others, I don't think it's right to destroy people's privates ever.